Greetings friends, I hope this finds you well. Today I'm going to be kicking off a new PC build. So currently I have a Core i9-9900K that is now 3 generations old because as of a couple of days ago, Intel just released their new 12th gen 12900K i9, which is what I have right here. Went to Micro Center Thursday the 4th and got there as soon as they opened. Was able to pick up the processor. I also got a ROG Strix Z690F PCI Express 5 DDR5 motherboard. That's what I'll be using for this build. Even though there aren't any PCI Express 5 devices out yet, those will probably be coming in the future. Also picked up a 32 gig kit of the Dominator Platinum RGB 5200 megahertz. And then I got a Samsung 980 Pro SSD. So this is a PCI Express 4 still. There aren't any 5 devices out just yet. But this is still 7,000 megabits a second transfer rate, so plenty of fast enough. Also picked up the case. So I'll do a little bit a closer up shot of this. But I've got the, so the box is over here. The case is actually out on this side. Got the Corsair 7000D full Tower ATX case. It's been a long time since I've built into a full ATX case, but I just wanted as much room as possible because I wanted to put as many fans as possible, get the best airflow as possible, because not only am I going to be putting my 3090 from my old build into this one, this chip, when it's under load for a sustained amount of time, so if you're doing rendering out a video or playing a game that has a high CPU load, this thing can get hot. I think from what I've seen, it can draw around 240 watts at full 100% load, which is going to get warm. Because of that, I wanted to get the best I/O that I could find without doing a full custom water cooling loop. I mean, I'm not against that, but a little more time involved with that, definitely more expensive, so maybe in the future. But for right now, I picked up this Corsair iQ H170i Elite, I think it's Capalex is how you say it. I believe so. And this is a triple 140, so it's 420 millimeters of total cooling. So it's one of the bigger AIOs that you can get out there. The problem is this does not have an LGA 1700 bracket included yet. Corsair does sell this on their site for $14.99. You can get a kit that includes the LGA 1700 parts that you need to make this work. They are sold out right now. So I've checked every day for the last 2 days. I've got the auto notify on, so hopefully that comes back in stock soon. Micro Center does not have any in stock right now, which is where I picked up most of these parts from, my local Micro Center. They did, however, have this Lan Li Galahad 360 cooler. So I may have to use this temporarily until I can get the right Corsair bracket, because Lan Li did ship out and Micro Center had the LGA 1700 kit to make this AIO work for this new chipset. The associate did mention that someone said they were able to get this to work with the Corsair. He said, he didn't know for sure. They were just maybe hearsay. So I'm going to see. Hopefully, if this will work with that, that would be awesome. If not, I may either have to temporarily use the Lan Li or wait until Corsair gets the LGA 1700 kits back in stock, which who knows how long that could be, because I'm sure everybody's trying to buy them right now, especially if you already had one of these coolers and you want to upgrade your chip and all you need is that bracket. I'm assuming eventually these will include that. I know they've got some new versions of the iQ coolers coming out. I think they're called the iQ Elite something, and there's, the 320, the 420, or the 360, the 420 as well. And power supply, I went with the also Corsair RMX series, the RM1000X. I usually use like an 850. That's what I have in my old build, which has the 3090 and, like I said, the i9-9900K. But because this new chip draws more power potentially, I wanted a little bit more headroom and went ahead and picked up the 1000 watt. Also got some QL140 fans. This case comes with 3 140s, but they are not RGB. So I wanted to use 140s since this case will house 140s. I think you can put 3 140s in the front, on the top, and on the side vent. So you can, and then also one in the back. So you can do 10 140s on this build if you really want to. And I think that's what I'm going to end up with. The cooler comes with 3 140s, but I think it's the LL or the other model number. It's not the QLs, which these have an additional RGB ring. They have RGB on both sides, so just a lot more RGB. Not that that's the reason for getting them, but I think they are. They may be just a better bearing. I'm not sure. I could be wrong on that. But anyway, I got 2 of the 140 kits because they have, I believe, the Commander cores in them, and I'm probably going to need more than 1 controller to be able to hook all of these up. And then I got 3 standalone additional ones. So I'll be replacing the ones on the cooler with these. I'll be putting 3 of these in the front and 1 in the rear. And then on my side panel, I'm going to take the ones off of the cooler and put them in the side panel because you'll see the RGB coming from outside of the case on the side, but the back of the fans will be blocked because there's a shroud inside of the case that I'll show you that will block that. So I'm not worried about having the same ones because you're not going to be able to see them potentially from inside the case. I think it'll be more aesthetically pleasing like that. Don't know for sure. We'll see how it looks, but I'll show you that when we get into the case details. So here's all my parts. I'm thinking about calling this the Dark Knight build. I know there's some other people that have done Dark Knight builds, but I've never done anything like that before. Never really named a build before, but I do have this this Batman statue. It's actually from the Batman Arkham Asylum Collector's Edition that I got years and years ago, and it's kind of just been sitting on one of my collectible shelves. I don't know if I can fit it or incorporate it into this case. Maybe. But that's kind of what I'm thinking, doing all black and white with maybe some gray accent pieces here and there. The only thing I do not have on hand, which hopefully will be here sometime next week, is I ordered cable extensions that are the braided, the really nice looking ones, and they're like a dark gray, almost a slate color, I think. So we'll see how those look, but they won't be here for a few more days at least. So I'm going to get started, try to get as far as I can with this, but depending on the cooler situation and if I'm able to get a bracket to work or not, I'll either have to temporarily use this Lan Li, which I don't really want to if I don't have to, but I don't know when Corsair is going to get these brackets back in stock. So I may wait a few more days and then throw the Lan Li on if they don't ever get them back in, but I don't really want to open it and use it if I don't have to. But I really want to use this system and kind of run it through its paces. And I want to benchmark it compared to my 9900K. I know there's a lot of other people doing benchmarks compared to like the 11900 and the 10900. But I haven't really seen anybody comparing it back as far as to the 9900K. That's what I want to do because that's specifically where I'm coming from. So I just want to see what kind of performance gains I'm going to see for, like I've been playing New World, maybe do Cyberpunk, some Cinebench, maybe do an Adobe export because I do a lot of video editing on this rig for my YouTube channel and also my podcast channel. So hopefully you'll stick around and be interested to see how this progresses. I'll go into a little bit more detail on the case, but I think this video is just going to kind of be the introduction, explaining all the pieces. I'll go into a little bit, like I said, more detail on the case, and then maybe do a follow-up video. I'm not sure if I want to do one big long video for the build as well. I might do that, but it may not be the best thing to do depending on how long I may have to wait for parts. So we'll see. But let's get into some of the details of the case. A little bit more about this case. Like I said, it's the Corsair 7000D Full ATX, and it's Airflow. It's the 7000D Airflow, I believe, is the exact name of it. Let's see. Yes, 7000D Airflow Full Tower PC case. Like I said, it's been quite some time since I've done a build in a full tower case, oddly enough. I think the last one I did was also a Corsair. I've been using Corsair cases quite a bit, other than my streaming PC build, which I did earlier this year, and I used an NZXT case for that because I just had never built in one and wanted to try it out. But anyway, this has a tempered glass hinged side panel, and it's also tinted, and it just has the little, it's not magnetic, it's just like the little clips, the little nubs that kind of pop in and out. Like I said, it is hinged. There is a screw here, so you can take this off while you're building if you want it to be out of the way. A little bit about the inside. It's got a plexiglass kind of see-through. I think that's plexi. Yeah, plexi, not tempered glass. So you can see the side of the power supply when it's in there, if you so wish. Manual, things like that, of course. There is a shroud here that has drive cages behind it, and there's also another set of drive cages here if you want to use either 3.5 or 2.5 inch drives. There's, I think, 6 bays total. I'm going to be using 2 NVMe drives, so those are all going to come out, so I have plenty of room to tuck cables and do cable management and things like that. And then also included, and there's been a lot of other people that have reviewed this case, so I'm not going to go into super amount of detail, but you have a bracket if you want to, which I thought was really cool and I think I'm going to try, is you can put this here, and then it'll allow you to mount your video card vertically but closer to the motherboard. So especially with the 3090 and these larger cards, if you use these other vertical mount slots that are built in, it can be too close to the glass and you won't get enough airflow. So this allows you to put it where the regular PCI slots would be, closer to the motherboard, to have plenty of room around it. So that's what I'm going to try. And then you've got these shrouds here. So this shroud here, there's a couple screws holding these on, and then there's actually 2 different shrouds. This is where your motherboard cables will come through, and then this back one here is where the other fans can be located. So you can do 120s or 140s on the top, on the front, on this back side vent, and then also here there's one slot on the back of the case itself. So if you wanted to have 3 or 4 fans in the front, 3 or 4 fans in the rear, because you could do 4 120s or 3 140s, and I'm going to do 3 140s. You could take this shroud off if you wanted to be able to see those fans coming both ways. I think I'm going to leave it on. We'll see what it looks like when I start building it out. Another thing too is these covers pop off. So again, it's got the little nubs. Makes it super easy, and you just see you got these grates here. Nice, lots of airflow. You got your magnetic fan screens that also pop out and make it super easy to clean. The entire fan assembly has a couple of screws, and then you can take off this whole fan assembly, mount all your fans, and then put it all back in, so you don't have to try to do it while it's in the case. That's also super nice. The top has that as well, and I believe the side might as well, but I haven't verified that yet. You got 4 USB 3.0 and 1 USB-C, as well as audio input and output on the top. So if you want to be able to utilize all those, you have to make sure your motherboard has that many headers. Like I said, this just pops back in. This just also pops off. It's got like a little nice Corsair, like rubberized grip, I guess, to make it easier to get on and off on the top for whatever reason. And then the magnetic sleeve up here also has like a little yellow rubber pull tab to make it easier to take off. Again, this whole fan grill comes out, so you can mount your radiator, mount your fans, whatever you need to do. And it's just a couple of thumb screws on the top one to put it on and off. This backside also is hinged and can also come off. It does have that one retention screw on the top. Again, has the little nubs, they just pop out. I'll turn this around in just a second, but I wanted to show you before I did that. There is also another piece included. It's kind of hidden down here in the power supply bay. And what this will allow you to do is, if you're using fans that go all the way up and down on the front and the bottom, like if you're doing 4 120s, you want to be able to see them or not restrict the airflow, you can install, this will come out and then this will install in here, so it'll give you a little bit more room for the fans. Or if you have a really big radiator, if you're doing a custom water cooling setup or something like that, and you need more room, this will allow for that, even though there is a pretty good slot here. So just another option that you have, depending on what the build's going to be. This case, it has so many options for placement of fans, radiators, water cooling accessories. That's that's really why I wanted to build it, and it's really excited. I've seen some other builds that other people have done on YouTube. Again, this just pulls open. It's got the two little nubs. There's also a magnetic fan grill for this one. So you can take that off and clean it if you wish, or just take it off completely if you want to have even more airflow, so there's absolutely no restrictions. Another fan mount, this one does come off as well, so that you could take it off, mount your fans, and then be able to put it back on. And then there's also another door which hides where all of your cable management would go. You can see down here you got your drive bays, which I'm going to take all of those out because I just don't need them. Here's the back of that shroud, and it does come with a PWM controller built in for up to 6 fans. Yep, 6 fans. You've got some SSD mounts right here. You can also take these cages, and there are some places on the other side if you had a nice SSD that you wanted to display, you could move those and put them on the other side as well. But I won't be using any of that. And this is just where I'll be putting all of my lighting hookups. So the Commander Pro, the Commander Cores, all of that will be hidden back behind here, as well as all the other cable management going to the various pieces on it. So super excited to get started on this. Like I said, the only hiccup could be not having the right bracket for this LG 1700. So we'll see how far I can get. And let's get started. Hello friends, just wanted to do a quick update for those of you wondering what bracket I end up using for this socket. So I never did get the Corsair LGA 1700 kit. It never did come back in stock. I haven't checked in the last few days, but it's been about a month since I built this, so I never got the auto notify that it was back in stock. I did, however, open a ticket, and Corsair told me that all I needed was the 1700, the LG 1700 retrofit kit, which is what you see here. So this is $299 instead of $14.99. All it is it's updated standoffs that work with this new chipset. So if you already have a Corsair cooler or something else that has an LGA 1200 bracket, this may work for you. It definitely will work if you have Corsair. So if you have others, it may work as well. So this is what I ended up getting. It took me about, I don't know, 12, 15 days once it came back in stock. I ordered it and they shipped it out. So this is what I'm now using for my build. So hopefully you found that helpful. You found this video entertaining. I hope you learned something. If you liked this, please consider subscribing, hitting that like button. I'm getting close to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which has been a goal of mine ever since I started this channel. So my 2-year anniversary is coming up, I think March or April of 2022. I'm also going to be doing a benchmark video where I compare benchmarks from the 9900K to the 12900K, because that's specifically what I upgraded from. So I'm going to be doing like Cinebench, some 3D Mark, and then a few games just to see what the performance difference is. So if you're interested in that, another reason to subscribe and hang around. Thank you.